10 K-drama actors who turn villains into your favorites. Yong Kuang. There are actors who play villains. Then there's Yong Kuang, who makes villains feel like a natural calling.
Somebody.
Evilive. Trigger. Each villain he's played operates on a different frequency of darkness. In Somebody, viewers described his serial killer as giving Dahmer vibes, not because of gore, but because of how disturbingly soft and calculated he was. In Evilive, he became the kind of gangster number 2 who doesn't raise his voice, doesn't need to. People compared him to a perfect predator who waits for exactly the right moment to strike. Then Trigger came and viewers flooded his Instagram with "I love you to the moon and back," calling Moon Baek the most insane face card in K-drama history. Moon Baek gained him followers he didn't even ask for. Mine included. He lost 8 kilograms for that role. Covered himself in tattoos. Delivered English dialogue. All for a character that broke hearts while breaking people. Yong Kuang didn't just go dark. He made darkness look irresistible. Bayan Wuk. Everyone knew Bayan Wuk as the sweet, lovesick Ryu Sunji from Lovely Runner. Then Strong Girl Namsoon happened, and something shifted. Ryu Shuro was cold, calculated, and disturbingly beautiful, the kind of villain who smiles while destroying you. Social media went into full conflict mode. Half the comments were, "I hate him so much," and the other half were, "I can't stop watching him."
Both sides were right.
That's the mark of a villain done perfectly, when hate and obsession become the same feeling. Nobody expected the rom-com sweetheart to pull this off on his first real villain attempt. He didn't just pull it off. He made people forget Ryu Sunji existed. Bayan Wuk made us realize the most dangerous villains are the ones who look like they could never hurt you. Junji. Junji has been in this industry long enough that people thought they had him figured out. Then Flower of Evil aired, and everyone went quiet. What makes Junji dangerous in this role is the layer underneath the layer. He played a man hiding a dark past from his own detective wife. The audience spent the entire drama unsure whether to trust him or fear him. That kind of tension doesn't come from a script, it comes from an actor who knows exactly how much to reveal and when. He practiced his warm expressions in front of a mirror for scenes where his character was pretending to be a loving husband. The unsettling part? It was seamless. The critics called it the performance of his career. He doesn't announce his darkness. He lets you discover it. And by the time you do, you're already too invested to look away. Ki Jun. Korea literally called him nation's trash. Not as an insult, as a badge of honor for how well he earned it. The Penthouse. War in Life. Innocent Defendant. Escape of the Seven. Ju Dante in Penthouse was a masterclass in calculated evil. The man stole an identity, killed his own people, manipulated everyone around him with a smile, and still somehow managed to make viewers want another season, just to watch him be terrible again. His Instagram flooded with hate comments every single week for 3 seasons straight. People weren't just watching Penthouse, they were rage-watching it, which is somehow more addictive. Then Escape of the Seven came, and he played Lee Waiso, a corrupt school director who orchestrated a murder cover-up so twisted that viewers called him pure evil in a suit. He also played a villain in Innocent Defendant years before either of these, proving he's been perfecting darkness for longer than people realized. Seung Hun. Seung Hun has a face that should belong to a romantic lead. That's exactly what makes him dangerous. The Glory. Queen of Tears. In The Glory, he was the high school bully whose cruelty felt too real, the kind you recognize from actual life, not just drama. In Queen of Tears, the hate escalated to a point where a woman physically hit his back in a restaurant and told him to leave the main couple alone. He couldn't check his DMs for weeks because of the volume of angry messages. He stood at the Queen of Tears rap party and said, "Please hate Eun Sung, but don't hate me," and half the room wasn't sure they could separate the two anymore. Meanwhile, fans who discovered his rom-com Into the Ring aka Memorial started trending it online just to remind themselves he is actually a good guy. That's the power of a villain done perfectly, when people need evidence to believe you're not evil in real life. Park Seung-hun said he received enough hate to last a lifetime. He called it a compliment.
Lee Seung-ji.
Lee Seung-ji was Korea's golden boy. The boy next door. Clean image, positive energy, national sweetheart for over a decade. Nobody was prepared for Mouse. Yong Kuang started as the most lovable rookie cop you'd ever seen, helping people, fighting for justice, the kind of character you root for instinctively. Then the twist hit, and he'd been the serial killer the entire time. Viewers who had been defending him for weeks suddenly felt personally betrayed. Not disappointed, betrayed. That's a different emotion entirely. The drama's director admitted they cast Lee Seung-ji specifically because his real-life image was so clean that the deception would be more devastating. It worked beyond anyone's expectations. His first villain role won him the most acting praise of his career. Tyan. Tyan didn't even know he was the villain. Vincenzo. He auditioned with only the first 2 scripts, where his character Jang Junwoo was nothing but an adorable, bumbling law intern. Clumsy, cheerful, completely harmless. He had no idea that the same character would eventually drop his facade and reveal himself as the sadistic chairman behind a criminal empire. By the time he found out, he was already cast, and he delivered one of K-drama's most remembered villain reveals. Viewers described him as entertaining yet horrifying, a villain so charismatic you almost forgot to hate him. Almost. 2 PM fans who had followed him for years watched that scene in collective silence. Tyan himself was the last person who knew. That somehow made it even better. Ji Hune. Ji Hune spent years playing second leads in weekend dramas. Dependable, decent, occasionally charming. Nobody was calling him a revelation. Flower of evil. Death's game. He played the real Baek Hee-sung, the actual psychopath whose identity had been stolen by Lee Junji's character. When the two finally faced each other in the finale, the fight scene went so viral it trended in South Korea for days after the drama ended. Critics described it as the rediscovery of Ji Hune, the moment an industry realized they'd been underusing someone the entire time. In Death's Game, he went further, playing a sadistic antagonist who commits gruesome acts so casually that viewers said he genuinely scared them to the bone. He once said, "Every time I see people commenting that I am scary, I feel blessed." TikTok called him the hottest psychopath in K-drama. With long hair, in a thriller. Nobody expected that. Second leads don't usually reinvent themselves like this. Ji Hune did it twice. Lee Dongwuk. Lee Dongwuk has spent most of his career being devastatingly charming. Goblin's Grim Reaper. Tale of the Nine-Tailed Spock's God. Beautiful, ethereal, almost too handsome to be threatening. Hell is other people. His villain roles don't announce themselves. They arrive quietly. The menace builds so slowly you question whether you're imagining it, and then it's too late. Where other actors visibly shift into villain mode, changing their posture, their voice, their eyes, Lee Dongwuk barely adjusts. Whatever warmth was there before is simply gone, and the absence of it is more unsettling than any theatrical display of evil. The charm was never what it seemed. He just waited for the right moment to show you. Yuyong. Everyone calls her the nation's little sister. She grew up on screen, child actress to teenager to young adult. Korea watched her become who she is. Which is why Dear X hit the way it did. Yuyong plays a character who sends anonymous hate messages that destroy the life of someone she's jealous of. No dramatic monologues, no theatrical cruelty, just quiet, calculated damage through a phone screen. The kind of villain that doesn't feel like a villain until you realize what they've done. Fans who grew up loving her were genuinely unsettled, not because she was unrecognizable, but because she was too recognizable. She used her girl-next-door softness as a weapon, and it worked completely. It turns out the nation's little sister grew up, and she took everyone by surprise doing it. If calm Korean actor rankings like this helps you decide what to watch next, subscribing helps you find the next video easily. See you in the next one.